The narcissist knew beyond a doubt the pain, the anxiety, the panic attacks, the suffering that you were going to go through at their expense when they decided to execute that betrayal, when they decided to cheat on you, when they decided to be an infidel, because they had the choice. Remember, guys, they had the choice to just amicably end it with you and take time to find what they were actually looking for, but they chose to just monkey branch right into something new while still in a relationship with you. They knew you were going to find out, and they did it anyway. Hey, this is Keita with Psychopath Exposure. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to cover trauma bonds and betrayal bonds. If you guys have been involved with a narcissist or a psychopath before, you're probably quite familiar with the trauma bond situation. If you've never heard of this before, be sure to stay all the way to the end because this is some good stuff, some very powerful information I'm going to reveal today. I've been in a trauma bond myself, and I can tell you it's one of the worst experiences that you will ever have because it's a perpetual loop that just continues to repeat itself, repeat itself, repeat itself. And no matter how much you try, you just can't seem to get out. And yes, I'm talking about a toxic entanglement, a relationship, a situationship, a marriage even, with someone with a personality disorder, narcissistic, borderline, you name it. Anyone that has experienced trauma at some point, has been in traumatic relationships before, and now you're getting entangled with them, damaged people, broken people. When you get into any type of romantic situation with these types of people, you're prone, most likely at some point or another, to develop a trauma bond towards them. So I want to go into detail and give you some examples of exactly what a trauma bond is and why it's so hard to break free from that curse. A trauma bond is like an addiction, okay? It's an addiction to a person's good traits, to the positive, to all the good feelings, all the good emotions that this person brought. Number one on top of that, on that list, is probably sex. You get very, very addicted to this incredible sex that you have with this person, because sex with a broken, damaged person is the best sex you'll ever have. So you get very, very attached to that. Also, you get attached to their validation. You get attached to all the things that they do that make you feel loved, that make you feel secure, that make you feel like you have a purpose in life, like you're worth something, like you have value. All those good emotions that this person shares and offers you at the beginning of the relationship. Okay? You become addicted to that, which is why the love bombing that the narcissists and the psychopaths put the victims through at the beginning of the relationship is so powerful, because the victim becomes addicted to those high levels of emotions. Now, the caveat to this is that what precedes all those good emotions, that great sex, all those apologies, all those feelings that make you feel alive again, what precedes that is abuse, abusive, manipulation, gaslighting, all the bad shit that the narcissist, that your toxic partner or ex did to you. Okay? And you know, there's all forms of abuse. It doesn't necessarily have to be physically. Most of the clients that I work with, most of the survivors here in the community, thank God, haven't been put through that, but I know some of you have. And if you're familiar with Stockholm Syndrome, it's when the victim falls in love with their abuser. So this is akin to that. You got to keep in mind that any positive reinforcement that precedes a negative behavior gets anchored into your psyche. So it starts out pretty minimal sometimes, just a little bit of a character assassination here, like they might insult you here, they might criticize something, and to the point that, you know, it's like a little poison drip and it makes you feel bad, but then they follow it up with an apology. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that to you. And it continues getting worse and worse and worse to the point where you're being ghosted, they're cheating on you, right? They're having an affair, there's someone else in the picture, they're lying behind your back, they're disappearing, all that type of shit, and you feel horrible. But then they come back and they follow up with this amazing display of crocodile tears where you really feel that they're hurting. And sometimes they really are, because remember, they have a disorder. So sometimes they really are hurting for the damage that they have caused. And it's not so much that they really feel bad for you, it's that they don't know how to control their impulses, and they watch as they self-sabotage. Once again, another good opportunity for them, why they make more bad decisions time and time again. Okay, so they come and they apologize and they beg you and they promise things are going to be different this time. I will never do that again. Oh my God, I can't believe I've done this to you. I love you so much. You don't understand. I would die without you. That makes the victim, that makes the victim feel good. It makes you feel better after you've just been abused, and someone and the partner that you love that hurt you, that put you down, is giving you all that validation all of a sudden. That validation that you're already addicted to, it feels good. So the brain develops an attachment to it, and it knows, okay, every time things get bad, things are going to get better. And I know that that's the way life works. The pendulum usually swings both ways, but this is a little different, okay? Because we're talking about an addiction here. Now, if we want to compare this to like a drug addiction, for example, let's say you take a cocaine addict, okay? A coke addict, someone that's addicted to coke, they're addicted to that feeling, that feeling of sharpness that you get, that you're on top of the world. You have everything figured out. You have the answer to all the problems of the world. You're confident, you're cocky, right? And then you crash, and it ruins your life. And then you see what type of person you really are when the faucets of dopamine are suddenly silenced or shut down. Now you'll see these people hit a rock bottom, and they're just crying, just complete pieces of shit. But even though their life is fucked and they just destroyed their relationship, they probably lost their job, they severed good friendships, they severed all sorts of shit, and really, really put themselves in a bad place, they still go and chase that original high. They will move mountains and push through any obstacle to get their fix again when that craving comes, okay? When you're feeling that withdrawal and you have that craving, and you go and you do it again, even though you know it destroys your life. The addiction is so powerful, it is so strong, that they pursue the very same thing that put them in that horrible, horrible, nasty place. Just like an alcoholic, they'll drink and they'll drink and they'll drink, and then they lose their job, they fuck up their families, it's just totally out of control, their health is out of whack, right? They realize they have a problem, they try to stop drinking, things start getting better. Things start getting better, much better. But that little dark passenger, right? They have that dark passenger that at some point or another, they just relapse and they just fuck it all up, okay? Because it's an addiction. Even though they know it's bad for them, the rush of it, the dopamine hit that they get just knowing that they're gonna get drunk again, even though it comes at a sacrifice, it's too intense and it's too strong, and it defies all logic. So when you're in a trauma bond, you're addicted to this person. You're addicted to having sex with them. You're addicted to having their validation. You're addicted to talking to them every day. You're addicted to cuddling with them every night. You're addicted to having their presence in your life. So when they abuse you, and when they cheat on you, and when they lie to you, and they put you in those states of anxiety, and they instill in you the worst panic attacks that you will ever have, the brain knows that on the other side of all that darkness, this person's gonna make you feel better. And you just can't wait to get your fix again. So you let them back into your life and you let them walk all over you again, and the cycle repeats itself. So how exactly does one fall into this cycle of doom? Well, let's look at the narcissistic patterns here. When you're dealing with someone that's narcissistic and they put you through that love bombing stage, right? Remember, a lot of these narcissists don't even have an identity. They don't know who they are. They're like chameleons, okay? That's why they study you, they mirror you, they start listening to the same music that you listen to, they start dressing like you do, they start doing whatever they feel is gonna get you to fall in love with them. Okay, now you gotta remember, this was the person that you were probably praying to God on your knees that would manifest for you in your life. This was the person that you had a vision board. This was the person you would talk to people and tell them, this is the type of person that I want in my life. This is the person I would marry if I had a partner like this. This is exactly the type of person I'm looking for. And suddenly it's like you manifested exactly what you wanted. But it's a facade, guys, because they don't have an identity. They saw you, they were attracted to your light, they were attracted to whatever it was that you had. If you had boundaries at the time, they respected that you had boundaries. It's funny and ironic how at the end of that entanglement, your boundaries don't exist anymore, right? But at the beginning, maybe you did. Maybe they saw some strength in you. Maybe they saw drive. Maybe they were after a meal ticket. Maybe they just wanted money. Maybe they just wanted a provider. Whatever it is that they were after, they figured, okay, how can I make this person like me more? Okay, I'm not his type. I'm going to make myself his type. They do all these things. This is all manipulation, right? This is all manipulation. It's not true. It's a facade. They can't keep it up, but it works. It works because we're only human, and it's a psychological trick. Okay, it's a psychological trick, and we become addicted to the things that we gravitate towards the things that we have in common, and it becomes an addiction when this person can come and just validate everything you do and just put you on a pedestal, and they fill maybe that void that you had before you met them, and they complete your sentences, and you feel like they're your soulmate. It gets very, very addicting. Gets very, very addicting. So when there's glimpses of that disappearing, when you start seeing the little cracks in their mask and the little abusive behavior starts to happen, they ghost all of a sudden for one night, and it's like, hold on a second, like we talk every night, why aren't you returning my calls? What are you doing? Like something's broken from the system, right? Something's wrong there. Something's wrong there. When you're in a healthy relationship, you just don't ghost your partner, okay? Even if you're busy, hey babe, look, I'm going through this shit. Shit's going on right now in my house with my parents, or this is going on here, this is going on there. I can't talk to you right now, but let me call you back, when I'm ready to go to bed. Something like that, just something. So you don't go to sleep wondering what the fuck they are, but when they're ghosting you, it's because they were someone else. It's because they're cheating on you. And you know that, your intuition knows that. But you're so addicted to them, and you're so addicted to these feelings that you put up with it. You put up with it. And then they do it more. And then you put up with it more. And you get to this place where you just, am I ever going to get the things that you used to give me again? Am I ever going to get those feelings again? I just want those feelings. I need my fix. Please, please give them to me. And that's the trauma bond. See, you're addicted to that shit, and you will put up with any form of abuse that you get, and you will wait as long as it takes to get your fix again. But every time you get your fix, you get it in smaller doses, and in smaller doses, and in smaller doses. But the cycle repeats itself. The addiction is there. Otherwise, you'd get rid of them. Right? Otherwise, you'd get rid of them. But you can't. And no matter who comes into your life, they can't compare. They can't compare to the toxic person because you're addicted. And like I mentioned in a previous video, your reticular activation system, your RAS, is focusing only on those good emotions, on those good feelings, on those good traits. And you can't notice that you're being abused. Like you feel it, but you're so selectively focused on those good things, those things that you're addicted to. And you start telling your friends about it, and your friends are like, you're fucking crazy. Like this person just ghosted you. This person just cheated on you. They're clearly banging someone else. And you're like, yeah, but last week they cooked for me. Like they spent all this money and they made me this great dinner. And it's like, well, where the fuck are your boundaries? So because someone cooks for you, you have to put up with infidelity? And yet, all logic goes out the window. You're addicted to that person. It's a trauma bond. Now, narcissists and toxic people have a tendency of monkey branching, right? They're never going to break up with you amicably. They're never going to break up with you peacefully. It's never going to be a clean break where it's like, hey, you know what? We want different things, or we met at the wrong time, even though those are just, it's not you, it's me type of shit. But at least it's amicable, it's peaceful. Hey, you know what? Maybe we can stay distant friends or something like that. But it's never like that. They've already monkey branched towards someone else. They already have a new source of supply that they're probably already banging while in a relationship with you. And that other person has no idea that they're being finessed. That's how toxic, that's how empty, and that's how cruel these monsters can be. When a healthy person goes through a breakup, they spend time by themselves. They're not ready to date someone else. They need time for themselves, especially if they're coming out of a toxic relationship, out of a long-term relationship where you had a lot of plans. The last thing you want is to jump in bed with someone else because you're probably not going to be able to function or perform. And you're going to be thinking about that person. You're not going to feel safe in that person's arms. It's too soon. But these toxic predators are already in bed with someone else. And most of the time, they're not using protection, which is why I tell you guys, always use a condom. That's right. Always use a condom, especially in today's society. Especially in today's society, because you think that it's not going to happen to you. But let me tell you, it will. You will catch that STD from the narcissist. You will get pregnant by the narcissist. Or you'll end up getting the narcissist pregnant and now you're stuck. All right? Always use a condom. Because I can promise you from experience that they are not. They never have. When they cheated on you, it was completely unprotected. When they monkey branched towards someone else, it was unprotected. And when you confronted them about it, they lied. But the truth always has a way of coming out, doesn't it? So rather than doubling down on them, you have to start doubling down on yourselves. Once you've been through a situation like this, you cannot take risks like that anymore. These are life-altering risks. And once you've been through a trauma bond, you got to understand that the level of respect that maybe perhaps once was there is not really there. And naturally, it's a mutual thing. You don't really respect the narcissist at that point. You're just addicted to them. But you really have no respect. If we were to remove all that emotion and all that trauma, right? Completely remove it and just look at the situation from a higher perspective, you'll look at it, you'll be like, oh, that's fucked up. No, you're a piece of shit. I don't even want a friendship with you. I don't even want to be associated with you in any way. You're a horrible person. You're legit a horrible person. And you're going to continue attracting horrible people and horrible life situations because karma's a bitch, isn't it? Karma is a bitch and karma does come for them. And a lot of times, karma is their next door neighbor. A lot of times they're sleeping with karma. That's how close karma is. That's why the narcissists, the toxic people, no matter what they put on social media, no matter what you think, inside their minds, they're in hell. And remember, they don't have a soul. So they're empty inside. God, it must be horrible to walk in their shoes. Let me tell you, as bad as we felt, okay, it must be horrible to walk in their shoes on a daily basis. Because you know what? At least we have the opportunity and the means to get out of this and to attract better things into our lives. But they don't. They can't. Because they got a life history of karmic dues and karmic debts that they're going to be paying for. That I guarantee. It's crazy how quickly these toxic people can just jump into another relationship, knowing the damage that would do to the ex that they found out. It's just disrespectful. It means that the relationship meant nothing to them and they just monkey branched to someone else. And it's like, here we are grieving for months sometimes. Like we're home grieving, we're home suffering, right? Trying to piece the puzzle together. And you were just getting banged like the very next day, asking your partner to do the same things that we would do, trying to like, taking what you learned in the privacy of our bedroom into that new entanglement. God, the horror stories that I hear and the horror stories that I've experienced, they line up, they match. We've all been through this shit and it's a textbook pattern. They all have, it's like they all went to the same school. In hell, with Satan as their teacher, if you want to romanticize shit, right? Now, it's crazy how society is glorifying these people and glorifying bad behavior like this. Like the song I'm the Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, that being a bad bitch, being a bad guy, like that's glorified. It's glorified in films. It's just glorified all over society and social media now. So people are gravitating towards that lifestyle, towards that persona. And we're seeing more and more people with less empathy, with less traditional values, and dating sucks now. People would just ghost you instead of just telling you, hey, it's just not gonna work out, I'm not attracted to you, or we have different goals, we have different things. That just ghost you, just leave you there like, hey, we just went on a date, I thought it was great. And they just don't have the fucking courtesy to call you and just tell you it's not gonna work out. Life has changed. We don't live in that same world that we used to anymore. So, like, society is breeding a new world order of narcissists right now. And we're seeing that play out every day. So you gotta be careful and you gotta start establishing boundaries. Honestly, the reason a lot of this shit happened to us is because lack of boundaries. Whatever boundaries we had, we allowed this person to just walk all over them after a while. Because of the trauma bond, because of our addiction to those highs, we let them walk and cross over our boundaries. So if you don't have boundaries moving forward, you're just going to attract another broken, damaged, opportunistic, manipulator, user, liar, cheater. So let this serve as an opportunity, right? Let this experience, this traumatic experience, serve as an opportunity to rebuild your boundaries, to know, so this person came into my life to teach me how to let go of toxic shit. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. If you've seen RoboCop, remember what happened to Murphy before he became RoboCop. Remember the gang that shot him down? Then he became RoboCop and he's badass, right? But look at the shit he had to go through. Do you guys want to go through that shit? Don't have a choice. Kind of already did, didn't you? We all did. So this is our opportunity now to rebuild ourselves as a fucking badass. Okay? To have boundaries. To have the ability to see red flags a mile away now, 10 miles away. To be able to think 10 steps ahead the same way the narcissist does when they're trying to manipulate and live a double life behind their back. We can learn from them. We can learn from them and see what they're doing before they do it. And you can really tell when someone's genuine and sincere and doesn't have those narcissistic tendencies, because the way they respond to situations is night and day different than the way a narcissist does. You can tell when someone has empathy and when someone's faking empathy. Maybe you didn't know it, maybe you weren't able to do it before you went through this, but if you do the type of healing work that I talk about here, you will see it. You will develop that skill. You have to. And that's going to allow you to reach higher levels in your life, because you're going to be dealing with narcissists for the rest of your life moving forward, not just in romantic situations, but in business. Okay? In business, in the corporate world, you're gonna be dealing with it. Fucking politics all over the place, right? And the older you get, you start meeting new people, they probably have a history. They probably have all sorts of baggage, all sorts of traumas, right? So they're gonna be pretty hypervigilant too. You might think that maybe, oh shit, I attracted another narcissist, but what you really did was attract the victim of a narcissist, a victim of a toxic person. And now they have their boundaries up. Or maybe they've developed a few narcissistic traits, okay? Like I'm sure all of us have. I'm sure all of us have as a defense mechanism. So you're at the end of that entanglement. There's no more love bombing, no more tokens of affection, no more love, usually no more intimacy, barely any communication, just abusive, character assassination, gaslighting, manipulation. You can tell they're using you. You can tell they're putting unrealistic expectations. They're goalposting you. It's never enough. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you double down, it's just never enough. They triangulate you with the new supply. They're comparing you with the other person. and it's like you're still in that situation, no boundaries. Once again, guys, no boundaries, right? Everything I just said, you're still in the situation, you're afraid to leave, even though what I just said, if you weren't emotionally attached to it, you'd be like, what the fuck is that, right? But once you're emotionally attached, once you're in that trauma bond, all those things that I just listed only contribute to that emotional chemical dependency that we have on that person. And this is why it executes to perfection. It's like a high and low, kind of like a drug addict. They can't break that addiction. They can't break it because their mind, their body is just addicted to that feeling, to that high. And even when you crash, the brain knows that it's part of the system. You get addicted to, okay, I'm crashing now and it sucks and you're crying and you feel horrible, but if you get your fix, right? If you get your fix, everything is better and it was all worth it because you go from rock bottom, boom, skyrocket all the way to you're back on top of the world. So how does that relate to a trauma bond with a person, with a toxic person? Well, they put you in that rock bottom state. They started cheating on you. They started entertaining someone else in your life. They allowed someone to come in between the two of you. They started triangulating you. They started gaslighting you. You started developing anxiety. You started going through panic attacks, right? They stopped responding to your texts at a timely manner. They stopped answering the phone when you know that there's some shit's going on and you're calling them and calling them and calling them, and they refuse to answer the phone and they will ghost you. They will ghost you. And just when you're at the bottom, at your deepest, darkest moment, and you've gone through like 5 or 6 panic attacks, you have this crazy anxiety that won't go away. You're talking to yourself in the shower. You're losing weight by the minute because you have no appetite. Yet all you want more than anything in the world at that moment is just to be able to talk to them. If only they would answer the phone, just getting a reply would fix everything and take all the pain away. And they know that they have that power over you, whether it's intentionally, unconsciously, they know they have that power over you. So imagine a situation where you've been dating a toxic person and you've been going through the ups and downs, right? And you get discarded. Or maybe you cut them out of your life because you finally grew a pair and you finally drew that line in the sand, like I like to tell you guys a lot. You finally drew that line in the sand and you say, hey, you know what? By not choosing me, you're choosing them. If that person is still in your life, we have nothing else to talk about. That is unacceptable. Fuck off. And you actually do that. Now, textbook narcissist move, they'll wait some time, they'll let you calm down, they'll let you deal with your emotions, and they will hoover. They will try to see if there's another way back in. Textbook, guys, this happens all the time. I know you've been through it. Happens all the time. They try to see if they can finesse their way back in. Back in. And if you let them in, they respect you a little bit less, and a little bit less, and a little bit less each time. And the abuse is a little bit more, a little bit more, and a little bit more each time. And the buffer between the good times and the bad after you let the narcissist back into your life gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay? So back again, you're having severe panic attacks, severe anxiety. Your friends can't stand even talking to you anymore because you're just on a loop, just repeating the same shit. I can't believe he did this. I can't believe she did that. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe they won't even return my calls. So back to the example. So you let this person back in. You're a little iffy because you know they've already betrayed you. You know you shouldn't accept that. Now they're in front of you and thank you, God. Oh my God, you feel alive again. All of a sudden you have a little spark in your voice. You get a little cocky. Right? Your appetite comes back right away. Now you're being a smart ass with your friends again. Everything's fucking cool. You have a little bit of confidence where you actually feel like you're in the power seat now. Okay? Now you're in the power seat. Narcissist there with the crocodile tears, making all these empty promises. I can't live without you. I don't care how long it takes. I want to fix this. And you know, you ask them about what happened to the person you were cheating on me with, and they just make up some bullshit story because it's always bullshit. Now think about how crazy the situation is, okay? You were betrayed, okay? You were going through months of impending doom. You knew there was another person involved. They were actively talking about another person. They pretty much wanted to get caught. And when you were finally free, you allowed them back, right? You allowed them back. You feel you're in the power seat now. You feel great, right? And within weeks, sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, but sometimes like between 1 and 3 weeks, by the end of the month, guaranteed, the abusive behavior, the bullshit, right, that they were apologizing for, that they swore they would never do, starts up again. But this time is even worse, okay? This time is even worse. So you go from being on the power seat back, here's the top of the cycle, you just allowed them back in. They're apologizing, they show up at your house bearing gifts, making empty promises, all this bullshit, right? You know something's wrong, you know something's not right, but you take them back anyway because of the trauma bond, because of your addiction to them, right? You take them back anyway. You feel that maybe, oh yeah, now I'm in the power seat, I'm the boss now, right? So you start going through the cycle. And once you're like here, you start seeing glitches again. Once you're here, you start seeing glitches again. You just notice the love bombing stops, because believe me, they come back and they love bomb you again. So now you're here, you're starting to notice that those things are starting to slow down again. You've been in this pattern before. And you're like, oh shit, it's happening again. No, it can't be happening again. No, it can't happen again. No, they wouldn't do that again. Like, no way. But it is happening, and it is happening. And the abuse starts again, right? And you start seeing the same old patterns again. You know they're lying to you again. You know they're lying. The texts start slowing down. The frequency slows down. Making plans with them again becomes a nightmare. You're not sure if you're going to see them this weekend. You're afraid to even ask them. You're afraid to even try to make plans out of fear that they're going to tell you some dumbass excuse like, oh, I have schoolwork or some garbage like that. And the pattern continues and continues until you're back at the very same end that you were. Just notice how I moved, the circle was here, I moved it here, now it's here, but it's here, guys. So you're back at the tail end of where you were just a month ago maybe, when they first discarded you or when you first got rid of them. Here you are again, and you can't believe that you're here, that you're back again. You just can't believe it. So that familiar anxiety comes back, right? That feeling of hopelessness, that feeling that you might lose them again is like, oh, you get re-triggered and re-triggered and re-triggered. You get to a point and it all explodes again. It all explodes again. Either they discard you again or you end it, but normally at that point you get discarded. At that point, they just fucking cut you, they ghost you. I don't want to talk about this. This is not working out. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Drastic, cold. This is someone that you probably had in your life for years. This was somebody that had professed their love to you. This was someone that had told you time and time again that you were their person. Time and time again. And they just sent you a text the next day after ghosting you the entire weekend. Mind you, this is after you pleading and calling everybody, wondering if they died, if something bad happened to them. And they finally reply and they're like, I can't do this anymore, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the fuck did I do? Like, you're the one that destroyed this whole shit. You're the lying, cheating piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to say, but you're at that point you're so traumatized and you're so dependent on them that you bite your tongue. And now they're in the power seat. They won't take your calls. They're probably in the car right now with the other person. They're probably like, oh, let me just text them real quick and stop my phone from ringing. If they haven't blocked you, right? That's if they give you the courtesy of a text. And now you fall deeper in hell. Those panic attacks, if you think they were bad before, they get really bad now. If you think your anxiety and your loss of appetite was bad, just wait till you fall into the trauma bond cycle for the second or third time. Because it repeats, just like a drug addiction. It repeats. They will come back. They will come back. Once you're like at rock bottom, they'll text you again. Hey, just checking up on you, just wanted to know if you were okay, just wanted to know how your parents are doing, something like that, and you're like, ah. It's like you got your fix, right? Just that was like, ah, and you feel better, right? Just that alone can be it. But you know what? It can get even worse, because they can actually come back. You guys could have sex again. You're addicted to having sex with that person, right? You know that's your ultimate fix. That's the ultimate drug. They are your drug. And you're having incredible sex, because as I've told you guys before, sex with a toxic person is the best you'll ever have. So you guys are just going at it again, and you're like, yes, we're going to rekindle this. Oh my God, you have all this pent-up emotion, all this anxiety, all this fear that you were afraid to face. Your darkest, deepest emotions have been bottled up for weeks while they were ghosting you. And now you just explode. You explode with them, right? In this moment of ecstasy, and it's like the best sex you've ever had. It's like the ultimate makeup sex. And you're like, yeah. You got your fix. And your brain remembers that. It remembers that the person that put you in your coffin is the only one that can pull you out of your grave. It's the only one that can pull you out. After they buried you 6 feet deep, they're the only ones that can pull you out and give you some sort of hope, like they become your life source. They become your life source, even though in reality, these toxic narcissist people gravitate towards us because we are the light. We have something that they lack. That's why they move mountains and jump through hurdles to get us attached to them, to make us fall in love with them, to make us accept them. Because deep inside, they know they're not good enough. They have a delusion. They have a delusion that they're better than thou. They have a delusion that they're always right. But deep inside, they know they are broken and damaged and dysfunctional. They know they're not enough. They're not enough. But the truth is, to you and I, they were enough. Just having them around was enough. Maybe we wanted more because we saw potential in them, and this is a problem of the codependent. I'm guilty of it. We see potential in our partners. We want to help them grow. We want to help them like figure things out and just be independent. So we see that potential and we fall in love with that potential. But you have to see these people for the loser that they really are. Because only a loser, only someone that's so fucking empty and broken and damaged like that can treat a human being that had nothing but good intentions, that just was always honest, that made them feel safe. Only a fucking piece of shit, dark, broken, scarred narcissist can put you in that place that nobody else in your life has had the ability to put you in. Not your ex-girlfriends from before, not your ex-boyfriends. Maybe you had a previous husband and you had an amicable divorce. No, what is it about these people that can put you in the darkest places of despair and yet be the one that can come and save you and make you feel better? That becomes an addiction. That in and of itself is an addiction. And let me tell you guys, when that person is gone, even though they're destructive to you, even though the more you're around them, the more your life crumbles, when they're out of your life, if you're in that trauma bond, it feels worse than when they're in your life constantly abusing you, poison dripping you, and just giving you a hard time. It feels worse. It's like, oh my God, they're gone. They're the only ones that can fix me. I'm fucked. That's what goes through your brain. It's like having a computer and you tether your motherboard. I know I'm getting techie here, but you tether your computer, you tether your motherboard to a license key, and then you wipe your computer. You have to wipe the computer for whatever reason, and now you can't install the product because that license key that you had was tethered to that motherboard, but that motherboard was wiped. That CPU was wiped. So the key is looking for something that no longer exists. So there's no such thing as a fucking antidote now. So the narcissist being gone, no one can heal you now. No one can save you. So the nightmare is never ending, and this could go a lifetime if left untreated. A lifetime. You won't be able to get them out of your head. No one that you date will be good enough. Nothing that you do will give you fulfillment, because your brain became super attached, emotionally dependent on this person's validation, on intimacy with this person, on sex with this person, and just having them in your life. And not having them hurts like hell. But then the pattern repeats itself, doesn't it? Sometimes months go by, sometimes years. And then you get that call, then you get that text. Somehow they find a way to reach out to you through another account. Something happens. And you let them back in. You tell yourself this time is going to be different. We've grown. We've had time apart. They probably worked on themselves like they said they were going to do. No, guys. No. These narcissists never work on themselves. They just monkey branch to someone else is going to give them what they lack. If they find a white knight that's willing to just give them money and give them all the luxuries and bail them out, they're going to monkey branch towards that asshole. If they find a prettier girl with bigger boobs, they're going to monkey branch towards her. If she's younger and prettier looking and has more opportunities, hey, why should I be with this? Why should I be with the same girl when I can have a new girl? You know why? Because they lack that empathy. There was never any true love there. There's only a damaged interpretation of what they thought love really is. Because remember guys, narcissists are made. They're not born like a psychopath. They're actually made through some traumatic experience when they were younger and the way their brain coped with the experience. Just like codependence. Sometimes I like to look at this like we were both part of the same. You know how I always say we attract what we are, or like attracts like? Most of the survivors that I work with, most of you guys out there, if we really want to be honest, y'all had childhood issues, daddy issues, dysfunctional homes growing up, dysfunctional relationships early on in your life. And now as adults, you're manifesting the same situation in hopes that you can fix it now as an adult, in hopes that you can make right what was done wrong to you when you were a child. So you take ourselves and you take the narcissistic person. Let's say we both come from the same type of childhood where there was betrayal, where there was maybe abandonment, where there was abuse, where there was all sorts of toxic shit. Okay? And the way, on the one scale, the narcissist, just the way they reframed that experience was like, well, nobody gave me love. My parents didn't give me love the way I deserved. I can't experience that. I can't get that. I'm never going to get that from anybody. Everybody I meet abandons, betrays me. So you know what? I'm going to focus on dominating people. I'm going to focus on manipulating. I'm going to focus on beating everybody. I'm always right. Everybody's wrong. I'm going to focus on just being the ultimate best. No emotion, no empathy. I'm just going to be a fucking machine. I'm going to plow through everybody's heart. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. I don't care who I have to knock down. I don't care. I'm just going to bulldoze through everybody. Fuck humans. Fuck feelings. Fuck emotions. I'm just going to go out there and get what I want because it's a cruel world and I'm disordered now and I can never feel the same. I have no love, no way of accepting love. I cannot feel it. I never feel good enough. You know what? Fuck that. I'm just going to be wicked and evil moving forward, but I'm going to reframe that reframe and make myself believe that I'm the good person. Now on this side of the scale, we got the codependent. This is the person that had the same type of abusive childhood, but instead they chose to become a people pleaser. They chose to put others first and put themselves last. They chose to double down on anybody that would give them any sort of attention and just double down and try to buy that love from them, to try to earn it, buy it, whatever, manipulate it from them, instead of doubling down on themselves. They put others first and then they got walked all over, but they became addicted to giving more, to people pleasing more. They became addicted to that, became addicted to that, became addicted to that, right? So it's kind of like we're one and the same on different sides of the spectrums. I don't like to use the word empath because I feel that that's like a mightier than thou type of attitude. I feel that If you think that you're a narcissist, if you've been in a narcissist entanglement and you've been discarded and now you think that maybe you're the bad guy, and it's like, no, maybe you're a fucking codependent and you're able to get to the edge, to the very edge, right? Where you think like them and you can crush them, right? But you're not gonna you're not gonna cross that threshold because you know the damage is gonna do to them. You know the damage is gonna do to another human being, right? To their kids or something like that, right? But the narcissist, they'll get to that edge and they'll be like, fuck it, and they cross it. Remember guys, the narcissist knew beyond a doubt the pain, the anxiety, the panic attacks, the suffering that you were gonna go through at their expense when they decided to execute that betrayal, when they decided to cheat on you, when they decided to be an infidel, because they had the choice. Remember guys, they had the choice to just amicably end it with you and take time to find what they were actually looking for, but they chose to just monkey branch right into something new while still in a relationship with you. They knew you were gonna find out and they did it anyway. And then they came back and they made all sorts of promises. They picked you back up from the pits of hell that they put you in. And they knew that by betraying you again, they were gonna bury you double the depth. They knew it was gonna re-trigger, re-traumatize you and put you in a place of despair far worse than you were before. And they did it anyway. They promised you that they had cut all ties with that person that they had an affair with. They promised you that that was over. You believed them even though deep inside you knew that didn't make sense. Something your intuition told you, but you still gave them a chance. The person you love, your person, you give them another chance. And they went right back and cheated on you again with the same person. Not just somebody new, because that would be pretty shitty too, but with the same person. It's like, I'm gonna rub it in. Just gonna rub it in. They knew what that was gonna do. But here's the secret. That will backfire when you got boundaries established. If during that time that you were discarded, you started working on yourself the way they said they were doing, which they never did because it was just a lie. It was just an excuse to be with that other person, right? If you actually worked on yourself, that shit's gonna backfire on them, okay? And that person that they were triangulating you with, it's gonna discover the truth. And then that shit's gonna crumble on them. And forever, they're gonna live in a state of guilt and remorse. And they're gonna have to continue their destructive pattern of finding once more another source of supply to give them what they cannot manifest for themselves. What you and I tried to show them how to do. We try to make them a better person. We try to leave them better than how we found them. But at the end of the day, these creatures cannot accept love. They cannot accept love. The minute someone's being nice to them, they reject it and crush them. So you gotta be an asshole. With these people at least, not with good people, but with these type of toxic, disordered predators, you gotta be a fucking asshole. That's the only way they're gonna respect you. It's better for them to be gone and they have some sort of respect to be like, hey, you know what? That motherfucker, no matter what I did, but that motherfucker, I got respect for them. Because everybody else that they fuck over, and you guys know because you've been there, I've been there with my first psychopathic encounter. You become such a weak vegetable. Doubling down, trying, please, begging for breadcrumbs. But once you've been through this shit a few times and you know the game and you can see it a mile away, you start becoming detached towards it. And you kind of know how it plays because it always plays out the same. Even if they end up getting pregnant after they monkey branched off of you. Good. That's gonna be a horrible life experience. They just knocked up someone that they were cheating on. That truth is gonna come out. That's not gonna work. So let them pretend that they're walking into the sunset together Don't even go looking. Do not stalk their social media. You have to let that shit go. Because if you don't, that trauma bond will remanifest itself and will start over. If you let them back in, that will start over. And every single time you hop back on that roller coaster, it gets scarier and scarier and scarier. Every time you double down, that funnel, that downward spiral keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. You know this. If you're watching this video right now, you've probably been through this dozens of times already. And you don't understand, you can't comprehend, why am I so addicted to this person? Why can't I just say no? Like, a lot of you guys try to like just break it off, right? And here comes the narcissist and they sweet talk their way and they say the right things and they get you all wet, and before you know it, you're knocking boots. Gentlemen, how many times have you guys told me, oh, I just can't resist when she shows up, she's just so hot, and I just couldn't turn her away. It's like, why? Shut that caveman brain off, guys. Shut that caveman brain off. It's a trap. It's a fucking trap. All right? So if you want to heal from a trauma bond, if you want to break that curse, you're going to have to dig deep into your soul and just make a commitment with yourself, with God, whatever you believe in, that you much rather be alone for the rest of your life than allow someone like this back in to your world. And that's not easy to do. I've developed a system that I put into practice in my own experience that helped me over time get over that hump. Over time. Because it doesn't happen overnight. You have to wean yourself off of these people. You can't just go cold turkey. If you go cold turkey, you know the withdrawal symptoms you're gonna feel are gonna knock your ass down. And you're just gonna beg, you're gonna bulldoze through any door, through any obstacle to get your fix again. I'll probably make a shit ton of more videos on how to actually wean yourself off of a toxic person. It's probably not what you expect to hear, but talk to any drug addict, talk to anyone that's highly addicted on something. If you just take it away, I'll give you another example of how difficult this is. It's like food addictions. Because remember, addictions can be anything. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you're addicted to all sorts of foods. If you're addicted to chocolate, you want to start a diet on Monday. You know, people say, I'm starting on Monday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, they just pig out pizzas, sodas, cookies, cakes, chocolate chip, bonbons, the works, right? And then Monday comes and it's like they cannot have that at all. People don't make it to Tuesday. They don't make it to Tuesday. You have to slowly wean yourself off of these addictive foods so your body can slowly bring the threshold down. That threshold has to come down. It has to come down. It has to come down. That tolerance that you have to fight that addictive personality or fight that addiction to whatever food or chemical that you have, that needs to be worked on. Okay? You need to have a high tolerance, right? When that craving kicks in, you have to have a high tolerance when you're like, I feel it, but nope, I can go one more day without it. Nope, I'm gonna go one more day without it. One more hour without it. Okay, I made it to the hour, let's go 2 hours. Okay, I made it through the day, let's see if I can make it through another day. You need to build that tolerance little by little by little. You can't just go cold turkey, because by next Tuesday, you'll be begging the narcissist to come back, okay? And they'll probably just breadcrumb you and fuck your life up again. So reach out to me privately at info@psychopathexposure.com if you'd like more information on private coaching so that we can work together and wean you out of this trauma bond that has you stuck in this perpetual loop that you're in. I've worked with a lot of people already, helping them out of this situation. It's something I needed to put into practice myself before starting to talk about it in public. But it works, guys. It works. And remember, you get what you put in. You get what you pay for. This is an investment in yourself. If you really want out of this situation, you're not going to do it alone. I have a mentor. I've been working with a mentor for a long time. In every area of my life that I want to excel in, I've always hired a coach. I've always hired someone with expertise. I've had coaches all my life, from guitar lessons, vocal coach, martial arts, personal trainers at the gym, nutritionists. I've spoken with so many people that have helped improve my skills. Okay, this is not something you can do alone. You know how an addict will say, oh, I can stop drinking by myself. No, you can't, motherfucker. No, you can't. That's why if you go to like a 12-step recovery meeting, that's why those things actually work. Because it's a fellowship, right? It's a community of people that have shared trauma, that have been through the same thing. And that's why you guys resonate with this type of content, because we've all been through the same shit. I'm just like you. I'm no goddamn guru. I'm just like you. Just like you. I went through this fucking shit. I'm human too. Okay? So remember, I went through this shit. I got myself out of hell. A lot of you have done it already. A lot of you guys have worked maybe with other coaches or whatnot, but you've done it as well. I see the comments. I see you guys. I see the enlightened ones that are offering advice from the other side of the spectrum of the trauma already, and I fucking love it. But I want to help as much people as I can, even if it's just 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% the next day. That if you start stacking that up, your life does get better. So please do not hesitate. Reach out to me. We'll talk about private coaching. And in the meantime, download the free ebook that I wrote titled 5 Steps of Going No Contact with a Psychopath Narcissist, so that you can start the process of weaning yourself out of this entanglement. You have to start cutting contact and communication with these people, because as long as they live in your mind, you're constantly going to be reminded of the trauma, of those compromised emotions, that anxiety. Your breathing patterns are going to go out of whack. Your heart rate's going to increase. You need to get these people out of your life as quickly as you can if you want to heal from this traumatic experience. If you have any more questions, if you'd like to know more about a trauma bond, betrayal bonds, I will be making more videos with more details, more examples, real life examples of how this stuff works, how to get out of it, success stories and whatnot, what have you. I know it's going to be a crazy week for those celebrating Thanksgiving. The holidays are starting. There's a lot of trauma that we carry into the holidays. We remember when we were with them last year, and now they're no longer gone, and now we have to remember the betrayal that they did. It's really tough, but hang in there, guys. Things really start getting better the more days you stack away from them. And one day you actually wake up and you're like, holy shit, I haven't thought about this person in hours. Holy shit, you know what? I don't even care what they're doing right now. Holy shit, you know what? I can't believe how many hours and days and weeks and months I wasted thinking about this shit instead of thinking about something that would have propelled me towards something better. It's amazing how the brain works when enough time passes. That's why they always say time heals wounds, okay? But time without action pretty much gets you the same results, okay? So you guys have to start taking action. I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm thirsty and I wanna drink a tall glass of ice cold water. So I would really appreciate if you dropped a thumbs up on this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more content like this, and click the little bell icon so you can be notified when a new video comes up. Let me know if you guys would like me to go live on YouTube from time to time so we can have real-time communications and you can ask questions in real time and I can answer them. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Once again, my name is Kita. This is Psychopath Exposure. Have a wonderful day.